I feel like we were right there. We were right there and missed. Hey everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I have the new Holo Taco Spice Rack collection. I keep saying that we're just gonna go with that take because I can't do another one. The Spice Rack collection features 7 new shades. This is quite clearly Holo Taco's version of a fall collection, and I personally am here for it. I feel like my manicures as of late, I've been doing a summer manicure on one hand and a fall manicure on the other because I'm kind of straddling both seasons right now, but I am very much ready for fall collections. So this collection is available right now on the Holo Taco website. I am currently recording this on Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. This collection got here last night. So if at any point in this video I sound like I am on like 2x speed, it is because I feel like I am rushing and I feel like I'm gonna be talking faster than I normally do because I am rushing. This release is not considered limited edition, which I am so incredibly thankful for. I am assuming since you clicked on this video, you enjoy Holo Taco polishes. In case you missed the memo, I have been swatching out Holo Taco's first year of releases recently on my channel. I'll have them popping up in the cards. The cards is what they're called. They'll be linked in the video description box, playlist, yada yada yada. The polishes featured in today's video were sent to me by Holo Taco in gifted PR. This video is not sponsored, but thank you so much for Holo Taco for sending these over to me. As I'm sure you can gather from the collection name, that this collection is inspired by spices and things that you find in your kitchens. So as always, in the description box, I will have links where you can pick these polishes up, the brand social media pages, my social media pages, and of course timestamps. And yes, we'll indeed have some comparisons for these polishes. So yeah, let's just get right into the video. The first polish up is called Brûlée Me Away, and Holo Taco is describing this one as a magnetic nail polish with a warm brown base, scattered holographic, and a gold magnetic pull. Brûlée Me Away had a fantastic formula. I am a massive sucker for anything gold, which I'm sure most of you are aware by now.
I love gold.
But brown plus gold is one of my favorite color combinations for gold, and I absolutely love the colors of this polish. It is exactly as Holo Taco describes it. The base for this polish is a very warm toned brown. I found on the first coat, this one was basically a one coater as long as you don't magnetize it. I found that unmagnetized, this was a very kind of bronzy brownish color. That gold magnetic pigment paired with the brown base pulls very, very bronzy. But I did find that once you magnetize this polish, that brown base comes out really, really nicely, and you can easily see the holographic in here a lot better magnetized. While Holo Taco does describe the magnetic pigment in here as being gold, I feel like it has a very kind of gold to bronzy kind of look on the nail. I really, really love it. I am undecided if I like this one more magnetized in the cat eye effect or the velvet effect. I personally lean more strongly towards the velvet effect because I find it to be easier. My love for seeing brown plus gold together was really making me really love it with the cat eye effect. For my live swatches, you're gonna be seeing this one built up in 2 coats on its own. I did not find that I had any visible nail line with this shade after 2 coats in the cat eye effect. For my velvet effect swatches, I used a DIY magnetic top coat to re-wet the polish to magnetize it, so you're still seeing it in 2 coats in the velvet effect as well. This magnetized super duper easily. If you haven't tried Holo Taco since their first magnetic collection, just be aware their magnetic formula is a lot easier to work with now. I feel like they really nailed the formula on these. The gold holographic in here gives the polish a very pretty twinkle with very subtle texture. While I did not personally experience any staining with this shade, I have recently been stained pretty badly by some of Holo Taco's other magnetic polishes, so I would highly recommend doubling up or even tripling up on your base coat. I feel that 1 layer of top coat should smooth everything out really nicely. You shouldn't have any texture after everything dries down. This is going to remove super duper easy. I didn't personally experience any staining with it. Also, on the topic of staining, if my nail looks crazy colored, it's because I recently swatched out a couple of polishes that stained my nails really, really badly. So I feel that my live swatch nail is like extra yellow at the moment. So yeah. The next polish up is called Cast Iron, and Holo Taco is describing this as a gunmetal metallic with a smooth, shiny flake and a scattered holographic. Cast Iron also had a really fantastic formula. I didn't find the base to be overly thick or thin, 0 application issues. On the first coat, this one was a bit more sheer than I had expected it to be. I thought this was going to be a lot more opaque, but it does build up really nicely in 2 to 3 coats. For my live swatch, you're going to see me build this one up in only 2 coats. I had just like the slightest hint of visible nail line, but I didn't feel like it was enough to justify adding a 3rd coat. I think though if you do add a third coat for this one, it will cover up your nail line. I didn't feel like mine was egregious enough to justify adding a third coat, truthfully. This is a really interesting polish. I feel that this is the polish that people had initially thought was going to be a frosted metal in this collection. It's not a frosted metal. I would say that the flakes in this polish, they're a lot smaller in size than the frosted metal polishes. You'll see in the comparison section of this video how this polish compares to a frosted metal in case you're wondering about the flaky size differences. Personally, I would have loved if this was a frosted metal, but I feel like with frosted metals continuously tarnishing on us, I feel like I am also okay with this one not being a frosted metal. I do agree with Holo Taco's color description for this shade. This is very much a very gunmetal gray color. It's super, super, super dark. I feel that this is going to be one of those kind of colors that whether or not I call this one a very dark gray or black is really just going to depend on the day. I feel like since I've gotten this one in hand since yesterday, I have both referred to it in my head as a dark gray as well as a black. I will say, however, as far as the tones of this goes, I found when I brought this one out into natural lighting, there was just like this kind of hint of like greenishness to it. I had initially thought that the greenish-ness was because of, you know, the landscaping around me. But when I looked at it again in my studio lighting where there was not in fact any green, I still was seeing a kind of greenish tone to it. Looking at the swatch that Holo Taco sent over, I feel that in Christine, it's Christine's swatch, by the way. I feel that in Christine's swatch, it seems like there's like a little bit of color shiftiness in the flakes. Not the kind of color shiftiness that's like, oh, it's a color shifty flaky. No, not like that. Just that it kind of looks like different colors, but not necessarily intentionally. But yeah, it's gonna pull a little yellowy greeny sometimes, depending on your lighting and angle, etc., etc. The flakes tray down with a very mild flake texture. One layer top coat will smooth them out perfectly. I don't foresee the flakes making removal overly difficult with this nail polish, but I still would recommend the soak off method or peel off base coat for the easiest removal. For the next polish, this one is called Copper Coated, and Holo Taco is describing this one as a smooth and lustrous chrome polish in a warm copper. Copper Coated also had a fantastic formula. The base was just slightly on the thicker side. Not too difficult to work with. I found it applied really nicely, and it was also a one coater on me. While Holo Taco was describing this polish as a chrome nail polish, I just want to make it clear, this is the normal kind of chrome nail polish. This isn't like the Holo Taco one coat chromes kind of chrome, where they were more of a specialty finish kind of chrome, where, you know, the special base coat and doesn't apply. You know, there were some issues with it. This is what I would describe as a normal metallic-y nail polish, where it's just regular nail polish with some pigments added to it, as opposed to like finicky, applies weird, and is more mirror-like kind of chrome. This is, however, the kind of chrome nail polish where you will have some brush strokes when you apply this one, so if that kind of thing bothers you, definitely try to apply your coats as evenly as possible. If you're really a stickler for brush strokes and you absolutely hate them, you might want to sponge on your last layer, or just not get a nail polish with, you know, brush strokes in it, but it's your money. This is an absolutely beautiful shade. I feel like I'm not a strong lover of copper, but I really love warm tones this time of year, and I feel like this tone and shade is just absolutely beautiful. I did not personally find that the brush strokiness of this polish, it didn't look bad enough to bother me personally. I too can be a little bit picky when it comes to brush strokes, and I found for this one, I didn't feel like I was like fighting my nail and the brush for trying to get things even. The new, well, it's not new anymore, but having this wider brush definitely makes brush strokes a lot easier to deal with than like a super skinny one where you're kind of fighting to get everything to apply evenly. Copper Coated applied absolutely beautifully. I love this tone, and this is a really gorgeous nail polish. My swatches show Copper Coated in 2 coats plus glossy top coat. This dries on the slightly dull, not super dull, but like don't walk around with that top coat anyway. And super duper easy removal because it quite literally is just basically like a pretty shimmer. I also did not personally experience any staining while swatching this shade out, but I feel like with the level of pigmentation that it has, the chances of staining very high. I must say the past few months of having to be really concerned about staining because I no longer have an overlay, it has been rough. And now this next one is called Herb Your Enthusiasm, and Holo Taco is describing this one as a smooth metallic polish in a warm dark sage shade. Okay, I've got a community question really quick for just in the middle here. So copper coated Holo Taco described as a chrome polish, but Herb Your Enthusiasm they're describing as a metallic polish. Am I the only one who sees these two finishes as exactly the same?
I don't understand. I don't understand, bitch. I don't understand.
I genuinely don't know what the pigments are that would make either of these two polishes not the same formulation. I don't know, but this is, we also had this same kind of phenomena in the anniversary collection. And I genuinely would love to know, like, what's the difference, because I feel like I use chrome and metallic interchangeably. I feel the only time where, for me, a chrome nail polish would be actively different than a metallic nail polish would be like a mirror chrome, where it's like a mirror finish kind of chrome. They're both brush strokey. They're both basically 1 to 2 coaters. They're not really color shifty, so they're not multi-chromes. If it's not a multi-chrome, it's a single chrome.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture.
And Holo Taco describes Herb Your Enthusiasm as a smooth metallic polish in a warm dark sage. Herb Your Enthusiasm also had a really fantastic formula. This one was just shy of being a 1-coater on me. I'm fairly confident if I had worked my brush a little bit more or went in for a slightly thicker coat, it definitely could have been a 1-coater. As a lover of greens, especially in the fall, I thought this was a really beautiful shade. I did not find the base to be overly thick or thin, zero application issues. Color-wise, I would describe this one as being a fairly darker green, not so dark that it appears a black kind of green, just a deeper tone of green. And then the metallic-y chrominess of this one, it pulls very strongly towards having a kind of like yellowy flash in the metallic. I don't feel that it quite goes quite golden enough that I would definitely call it gold, but it's heading in the direction of being golden. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who, when I saw this, I'm just like, didn't Holo Taco discontinue a multi-chrome that looks like this? Yes, I will be comparing it to Chameleon Cove because I was also curious. I feel like I would love this one a lot more if it was color shifty. I feel that I don't lean super strongly towards liking metallic-y greens like this. I feel like other than some very specific colors, I prefer my metallic-y shades to be more color shifty. I did find that the metallic pigments in here do lean quite a bit fairly brush strokey, both when the polish is wet as well as when it dries down. Again, and if that kind of thing bothers you, either make sure you have your brush strokes super straight or sponge your last layer on, or my recommendation, find a polish that looks like this that doesn't have the brush strokes. My swatches show Herb Your Enthusiasm in 2 coats plus glossy top coat. This is going to be another super easy removal. I didn't personally experience any staining. My nails were already stained when I started it, but super duper easy removal. The next polish up is called Maple Sugar Glaze, and Holo Taco is describing this one as a warm sugar brown jelly base with gold iridescent shimmer and gold reflective glitter. Maple Sugar Glaze had a fantastic formula. Because this one is in a more sheer jelly base, you will for sure want to build your coats up. I'm going to call it a 2 to 3 coater depending on preference and application style, potentially even your nail length. For my live swatch, I ended up swatching this one out in 3 coats, largely because I just wanted to see if I could cover up my visible nail line at all. I was not able to cover up my VNL with this shade, but I will say it's not a super bad VNL moment in my opinion, but I also know that for some people, seeing any hint of nail line is enough to send them into a rage. So either wear a nail line blurring base or just skip this one. Or I suppose you could wear it as a topper if you wanted, but like that's dumb. Stupid. I do agree with Holo Taco's color description for this shade. This is a beautifully warm tone brown shade. Not so warm tone that I felt like lobster hand situation at all, but just warm enough to just feel like cozy on the nail. The gold iridescent shimmer is absolutely beautiful. It gives a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful golden look on the nail. As someone who really loves gold paired with their browns, I feel like I was in heaven with the amount of warm tone browns that we got. I will say, however, while there is reflective glitter in here, it is fairly delicate on the nail. I was able to see the reflective glitter when I brought this one out into natural lighting. I could definitely see those reflective glitter twinkles, but it's a very delicate reflective glitter moment. While the polish dries down like a little bit textured, it's not like super thick and gritty like a lot of reflective glitters are. I feel like Holo Taco seems to prefer to do the reflective glitter polishes as subtle twinkles as opposed to like a bling blang blang reflective moment, which I suppose is probably easier for the average user. I found one layer of top coat seemed to smooth this out pretty good. Again, the reflective glitter is very, very delicate, so I don't foresee this one being too difficult to smooth out with your top coat. I will still recommend for removal to use the soak off method or peel off base coat for this one. Scrubbing this one off is going to be in for a bad time. You don't want to do that. Soak off method, peel off base coat, easy removals. And I did not notice my nails being any more yellow when I took this one off versus when I first started. The next polish up is called Pink Himalayan Salt. And Holo Taco is describing this one as a light warm pink jelly base with silver reflective glitter and silver micro holographic glitter. This is the first polish in the collection that I'm going to very much say I strongly disagree with Holo Taco's color description. I don't see this one as a light pink at all. I do, however, agree that this is indeed the Pink Himalayan Salt coloring that I think of. Specifically, when you get the Pink Himalayan Salt that's in like the big chunks of salt crystals, like, you know, the big old, there's a picture on the screen. This is that color. I feel like Pink Himalayan Salt, while it is technically pink, it also has a little bit of like peachy browniness to it. It's not baby pink or even like a rose pink. There's just like a little bit of, I was gonna say natural coloring, not that pink isn't natural, but I just feel like earthy, like an earthy coloring would be a better description than natural. I found on the nail, this one just leaned so incredibly peachy brownish on me. When Holo Taco first started teasing this release, this was in the first email they sent out and I was super duper excited for the shade. It looks so fun. When on the first coat, I thought this looked terrible. In fact, I thought it looked so terrible that I took it off and re-swatched it to verify that it was supposed to look like that. So yeah, this is gonna be one of those polishes where you're gonna have to trust the process. The first coat and the second coat, this looks just ugly. But I do think it redeems itself in the third coat. Building it up, you get more of the base color going on. I do think it looks a lot better that way, but I was definitely disappointed that this one wasn't like the pink color that I thought it was going to be. I think this would have been so fun if this was a textured nail polish. Like, I know Holo Taco has never done a textured nail polish. I know a lot of people don't like a textured nail polish, but in my opinion, I feel that a salt nail polish being textured would have been 10 out of 10, made perfect sense. As far as texture goes, this polish does dry down with some texture due to all the glitter in here. I found one thick layer of Seche Vivre seemed to smooth it up pretty nicely, but for personal wear, this is going to be at 1 to 2 layers of top coat depending on thickness of top coat, personal preference, if you use a glitter smoother, all the things. Because we're dealing with reflective glitter and holographic glitter, so it's going to dry down fairly textured, but not purposefully textured. And that's really the biggest difference, because I feel like someone's going to say, oh well, it has glitter texture. No.
Shut your stupid.
Glitter texture and purposely textured nail polishes, it's two different kinds of texture. Think the difference between glitter and sandpaper. When I want a textured nail polish, I want that to be gritty. I want sandpaper on my finger. This is not that. While Holo Taco is describing the glitters in here as being silver, I noticed when I put this one in one coat over black, I was seeing pinky toned glitters. I will be super curious to see when the listings for these go up if it mentions having pink tone glitters. Sometimes the little info sheet that we get on the PR list, it usually doesn't have the full description. There's usually some things missing out, like, you know, they shortened it. It's a little here. So I'll be really curious to see if there are pinky tone glitters in here.
Nope.
This is a super sheer polish, so you will have very obvious visible nail line with it when built up in 3 coats. This is sheer enough that you could definitely use it as a topper, hence why I swatched it in 1 coat over black. I would imagine that this will pair as a topper a lot better over darker toned colors. Anything on the more lighter end, because the base is tinted pink, you're going to be able to see the pinkness. Because there is a whole lot of glitter in here, I would once again recommend the soak off method or a peel off base coat for the easiest removal experience. And the final polish in the collection is called Sugar Dust Taco. This nail polish, I was so incredibly excited for this when the email went out earlier this week on Holo Taco saying there was going to be a sugar nail polish, or sugar topper, I think was their phrasing. I did a poll in my Discord server to see if anybody else thought this was going to be textured, and I'm not surprised at all that the overwhelming opinion in that poll was that would be great if it was textured, but probably not. I'm incredibly disappointed this is not textured.
Disappointed!
I feel like we were right there. We were right there and missed. Which again, to be fair, I also acknowledge textured nail polish is not really super popular with people because you guys don't like to have fun. Sorry to say it, the average nail polish consumer does not in fact like fun nail polish. I said what I said. Anyway, Holo Taco describes Sugar Dust Taco as being a sparkly topper with orange, yellow, shifting iridescent micro glitter and crushed and scattered holographic. So in case you are new to Holo Taco lingo, that crushed holographic, I'm guessing, is their holographic flakes, and then the scattered holographic is holographic glitter in silver. Sugar Dust Taco had a fantastic formula for a polish that I went into swatching it knowing full well that I was going to be incredibly disappointed. I actually enjoyed how this one looked. I think this is a really beautiful topper. I'll be super curious to hear people's opinions on this one just because I feel that, again, for the average consumer, I wonder if this is going to be different enough from scattered Holo Taco to justify the purchase from like the average consumer. I'll be really curious to know. I found this applied super evenly and very easily. You do have a significant amount of texture on the nail due to the glitters in here, but again, it's glitter texture, not textured nail polish texture. They're two different textures. I don't want to hear anybody trying to gaslight me in the comments telling me that like I could just not wear top coat. No, because it's not the same texture. I do agree with Holo Taco's color description on this one for the glitters. There is indeed an orangey yellow kind of iridescent glitter, and I was seeing a lot of different holographic glitter. In truth, my naked eye, oh, I mean, I wear glasses, so it's not really naked, but my eyes couldn't really pick up that there was both scattered holographic as well as like a holographic flake. I could definitely see that there was a bunch of different kind of sizes of holographic, but it was just so incredibly sparkly that my eyes were just like, oh, there's hollow, oh, there's iridescent, and like that basically was all my eyes were getting. I could, however, see it pretty easily under my macro lens, but it's a macro lens, it's supposed to do that. Because I was curious, for my live swatch, I swatched this one in one coat over a black cream, and then I also built this one up in 3 coats on its own because I just was kind of curious to see how this would look built up. In case you missed the memo, I really like wearing toppers built up in 3 coats because I think it's sparkly. In 3 coats, this one still have very obvious visible nail line. The base on this one is clear, so you can wear it over whatever color you want. I did, however, really like how this looked built up on its own in 3 coats though. And also for the live swatch, you'll be seeing this one in 1 coat over all the other polishes in the collection. As this is a glitter topper, it does dry down with a bit of texture. You're gonna want 1 to 2 layers of top coat to smooth everything out. And once again, use the soak off method or peel off base coat for the easiest removal experience. Alrighty, so let's get into some comparisons. I want to shout out the folks over in my Discord server for giving me some ideas for comparisons. You guys are amazing. So let's get into it. First up to compare to Herb Your Enthusiasm right over here. Right here we have Holo Taco's Chameleon Coat. I am fairly confident that this has been discontinued. This is one of their multi-chrome shades. Right here we have China Glaze's Little Green Invaders. This was in one of their Halloween collections a few years ago. This is technically discontinued, but very easy to find if you shop online. Speaking of easy to find online that's been discontinued, right here we have OPI's Positively Elphaba from their Wicked collection from a few years ago. Also from the Wicked collection, but in the OPI Infinite Shine line. Right here we have Osmopolitan, and then all the way over here we have Holo Taco's Acid Drip, and then all the way on the immediate right we have Para Don't Bother Me. Okay, as far as similarities go, I would personally describe Herb Your Enthusiasm as a darker version of Para Don't Bother Me. It's not the same finish, but I feel for the average user that's gonna see this metallic-y shade and call it a shimmer, I would say this is a smoother, darker version of Para Don't Bother Me. I would say that they're different enough that it's completely justifiable to want to own them both. They're not the same, they're not dupes in my opinion, but they are both greens that also have like a kind of yellowy, goldish kind of shimmery effect to them. But Para Don't Bother Me, the shimmer in here is a lot more sparkly, almost kind of like crunchy. This is a crunchy shimmer. So I feel like you can see the color shiftiness that is happening with the China Glaze and the OPI shades over here. So I feel like you can see the kind of color shifty goodness that Chameleon Coat is pulling off, as well as the OPI polish. I also just wanted to give another angle for these polishes just so you can see the color shifts happening differently. I would say Chameleon Coat is a different color than Herb Your Enthusiasm. Chameleon Coat's definitely like a multi-chrome, and Herb Your Enthusiasm is not. but here they are moving around so we can see the color shifts happening. Next up, to compare to Pink Himalayan Salt, I couldn't think of anything in the Holo Taco lineup that I thought would be similar to this, so I used suggestions from my Discord server for this one, so shout out to everyone in Discord for helping with these. Right here we have ILMP's Rosalie. This came out last fall, and then over here we have my collaboration shade with CERT Colors called Golden Hour. I wouldn't say Golden Hour is really similar to Pink Himalayan Salt. I kind of see where this recommendation came from. So over here we have Golden Hour, over here we have Pink Himalayan Salt. Golden Hour, technically the base on this is tinted pink, but on the nail you don't really see that pink tone at all. I find the only way you're really going to get any kind of like pink on the nail is if you do multiple coats of the polish. As a topper, which it technically is a topper, but I don't really use it as a topper, you don't get that pink tone at all. So yeah, if you want my collab shade, this is it. Well, one of them at least. In truth, I am not as big of a fan of Pink Himalayan Salt as I thought I was going to be. I feel like I like the tone better on ILMP's Rosalie. The biggest differences between these colors in person, in case anyone is curious, for Rosalie, this has holographic flakes in it. It does not have glitter, so it dries down very smooth. And it also is a significantly more pink tone base. I feel like you can really see how peachy, almost orangey, brownishy Pink Himalayan Salt is. Next up, to compare to Maple Sugar Glaze, I pulled out Holo Taco's Choco Holo. Over here we have Holo Cappuccino, and then over here we have Need I Say Mocha. I really was kind of stumped on what I wanted to pull out for this shade, so I just kind of picked out a couple of brown tone shades from Holo Taco that I thought would be kind of similar. I will say none of these are like super similar. Maple Sugar Glaze is very, very warm toned, and these other shades are not nearly as warm tone as it is. I said that weird. But yeah, they're not nearly as warm tone, so not really that similar. And to compare to Copper Coated over here, I pulled out, once again, shout out to everyone in my Discord server for giving recommendations. So over here we have Mooncat's Bootlegger. Right here we have Olive F Polish's Pigment. Over here we have China Glaze's Golden Acorn. And then all the way over here we have Holo Taco's Tax Haven. So color-wise, I would say that these shades here, I feel like these are going to be the kind of things that for the average user, these are probably all too similar potentially. I would say that Copper Coated is a little bit brighter. I feel like it's coming across way brighter on camera than it is in person. It is more of a reddy copper. I would say Mooncat Bootlegger is significantly more brown toned in person. I thought Olive F Polish's Pigment was going to be a straight on dupe for these. Coincidentally, I had Olive F Polish's Pigment out at the same time I was swatching the Holo Taco shade, and in the bottle I thought these were going to be like spot on the same, but they're not. I would say that Olive F Polish's shade is darker in color. As far as China Glaze's Golden Acorn, I would say that Golden Acorn, the shimmer in here is a little bit sparklier. These other ones are like significantly smoother, and the China Glaze one, like I can see the particle sizes and it doesn't have any brush strokiness like these other shades do. And to compare to Brûlée Away, I pulled out Mooncat's Taipan Venom. Right over here we have Holo Taco's Fairy Tale from their discontinued collection from a few years ago. And then over here we have Xyler Cat Eye. So yeah, ignore these polishes over here. I didn't write down what these were and I don't remember what they are anymore. All I remember is that this one over here was Brûlée Me Away, unmagnetized, but I don't remember what these two over here were. In case you made it this far into the video and didn't realize that I am rushing, I am rushing. I don't know what these were anymore. I didn't write them down. I am sorry.
Trying my best here.
As far as comparisons for these magnetic shades go, however, I would not say that any of these polishes are terribly similar. The Mooncat shade, while the base on this is brown, the magnetic pigment color is more of like yellow, goldy, greenish, and then there's also these larger flakies in here that these other polishes do not have. For Brûlée Me Away, I would say the most similar polish in Holo Taco's lineup is going to be Xyler Cat Eye. Yeah, Xyler Cat Eye over here. It's more of like a reddish coppery color as opposed to Brûlée Me Away, which is more brown. I would not say that they're like that similar in my opinion, but I feel like this might come down to how you utilize your nail polish collection, is whether or not these two are gonna be too similar for you personally. And then to compare to Sugar Dust Taco, I basically pulled out all of my toppers in my collection that I thought were kind of sugary. And then to compare to Sugar Dust Taco, Taco. Right here we have Holo Taco's Flaky Holo Taco. Right here we have Holo Taco's Scattered Holo Taco. Right here we have Cert Colors Azucar, Cert Colors Angel Breath, Cert Colors Nimbus, and then Cert Colors Snow Angel. I pulled out these Cert shades because of requests in my Discord server. I feel like these are all kind of sugary vibes as far as polishes go, so makes sense. I see the vision. So in my personal opinion, I would say Sugar Dust Taco. I think if you combined an iridescent topper, like this, like Azucar over here, if you combine Azucar with like a scattered holographic topper, I think you would get a similar vibe to the Holo Taco shade. The color of the iridescent glitter in Sugar Dust Taco, because it has more of like an orangey yellowy color, Azucar, I find for this one, while this does have iridescent glitter in it, the iridescent glitter in question, it's very strong towards like blues and greens, so the tones are not quite the same as Sugar Dust Taco. So yeah, I didn't have anything in my collection that was exactly the same as Sugar Dust Taco, but spoiler alert, I'm not really a fan of iridescent toppers, so. And the final comparison is for Holo Taco's Cast Iron. For this shade, I pulled out Holo Taco's Blacklisted, which I'm pretty sure was discontinued. And then over here we have Holo Taco's Heavy Metal Mixtape. This was from one of the anniversary collections. So when I was pulling out comparisons for this one, I was really shocked at how similar Cast Iron was to Heavy Metal Taco. That's not what it was called. Heavy Metal Mixtape. Heavy Metal Mixtape over here. So imagine my surprise to discover Heavy Metal Mixtape Tarnished. This is a frosted metal. This was a combination of all of the frosted metals Holo Taco had released prior to this one. So I think because this had the blues and the purples in it that are prone to tarnishing, that this tarnished, because this used to be purple and now it's black. So I would say that Cast Iron is super duper similar to Heavy Metal Mixtape, but the tarnished version. The biggest difference, if you already have Heavy Metal Mixtape, the flakies in Heavy Metal Mixtape are significantly larger than the shimmer particles in Cast Iron, but I feel like the visual texture they have is kind of similar. I'm pretty sure that Cast Iron is the shade in this release that when the detectives were detectiving, thought this was going to be a frosted metal. It's kind of similar vibes wise, but significantly smaller particle sizing on the shimmer in here. Like it's a small enough shimmer that I suppose you can argue whether or not it's a shimmer or like a microflake. Plus there also is a little bit of holographic in here that I don't think is in Heavy Metal Mixtape. I would also say this polish is also pretty similar to Blacklisted. I don't recall what Blacklisted was described as when it was originally released, but these are definitely like micro flakies in here, or just like a larger particle shimmer size. I would say the difference between these two is that for Cast Iron, this has like a greenish tinge to it almost. Like it's not perfectly black. It's a very, very dark gray that has just like a tinge of like a greenishness almost, where Blacklisted, if memory serves correctly, is just black with like silver in it. So I do find it kind of interesting that we're getting a non-limited edition polish right here that looks so incredibly similar to past limited edition polishes, but I also can't complain about that because these two shades are super hard to come across right now, especially if you don't want to pay like a ridiculous amount of money. So I am down for releasing similars to past limited editions because it opens up for other people to have them, but that's just me on my little soapbox. I don't personally take in the whole, oh, it was limited edition, I liked having one limited bottle. That's not my vibe because like they're quite literally, there are hundreds and thousands of these produced. It's not that limited. Come back when you have like a one of bottle. That's limited, not these hundreds of thousands made bottles. Alrighty, so final thoughts time. I absolutely love the color story of this collection. This really screams fall. I also really enjoy the amount of warm tone shades that we got. I really love the combination of fun finishes that we got from this release, as well as finishes that I would see from like a brand like OPI or China Glaze and mainstream brands basically. I feel like these were both fun enough in both color and finish that it is enough to interest somebody like me who has a lot of nail polish. And I also feel that as a whole, The collection is not too kooky for the average nail polish purchaser, because yes, I am aware I am not in fact the average nail polish purchaser. And if you're watching this video, spoiler alert, you're probably not the average nail polish purchaser either. I will say, I do find it kind of comical that this is the Spice Rack collection and 3 of the polishes are basically sugar. And then we have a cast iron pan, salt. I guess copper is a pan. Yeah, copper plated pans. I suppose there's some arguments to be made on whether or not salt counts as a spice, but I just think it's really funny that 3 of the polishes are sugar, 2 are the pans that you use, and then you have salt and an herb. I find that comical, but I like the vibe of the collection. I like the inspiration. I love cooking. I love fall collection, so I'm not mad at this release at all. Actually, that's a lie. I am mad at this release. I am mad that we didn't get textured nail polishes. I've said this multiple times in this video. I know that I am not in fact the average nail polish purchaser, and I know the things that I find fun and intriguing in a nail polish is not necessarily what the average consumer of nail polish finds intriguing. Like, I just posted my swatch review of the collection that I think is the most disgusting, but also one of the best collections that I've ever swatched. Quite literally, I'm excited over cheese and meat scented nail polish in that video. I just posted it yesterday. In case you missed it, put it up here. It's fun times. But I feel like textured polishes could have been really, really fun. I feel like it could have been fun. As far as my favorite polish from this release goes, Brûlée Me Away is definitely gonna be my top pick. I just think that's a really fun polish. It's a really beautiful, I love gold.
I love gold.
I love brown. I'm not mad at that one at all. I would love to know what everyone else thought of this release. Are you planning on picking up? I know I saw a lot of people chattering saying that they're going to be picking these up on Black Friday. Is that you? Let me know everyone's thoughts and feelings on this release. And also, do you find it funny about the lack of spice in the Spice collection? As far as pricing and sale information goes, the Spice Rack collection is available right now on the Holo Taco website. Holo Taco prices are polishes starting at $13 and they go up to $15.50. I have the exact pricing on the screen because I'll be editing this video when the collection goes live, so I'll have everything on screen. And again, this release is not considered limited edition, so in theory, it should be around for quite a while. Before we end today's video, I want to give a very special shout out to my channel members. Shenanigans Story fans, your names, of course, all on the screen right now. And as always, my channel memberships are completely optional. Just like the video, comment the video, share the video, and most importantly, subscribe if you have not yet already. So just thank you all for joining me for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
When I get high, I ain't looking at the clock, still ballin' like Rant. Yeah, I'm headed to the Bucks, then I'm ballin' like yeah.